Hi there and welcome to day 17 of Home Golf Improvement. So we're going to follow on from yesterday's one where we talked about swing path and club face. And as you can see, I've drawn this little arc. Got an arrow here, so that's going to point to the middle of me, which is very, very important we understand that. So remember the relationship I talked about yesterday where the club face in relation to how that is at the ball in regards to the swing path will determine the spin on the ball. So let's start with a square one. Now, if I was to address this squarely, you can see my shoulders are square, and from this angle here, you can see the ball is, say, left of centre. What we're going to do now is that we're just going to pop to the drone, because the drone's above us, and see how square my shoulders are. Okay, so you've just seen how square my shoulders are and my feet are in relation to the ball to target line. So if I was to do a swing here, I'm obviously not going to hit the ball. I sort of go back and I swing through and I go through. So my club has come into impact. It's on the ball target line there, it hits the ball, it's on the ball to target line there, and then it comes round. And that's with a square ball position, so the ball's just left to centre. Now, two things I'm just going to ask you quickly is that the two shots that have a lot of shape on it is, if you hit a driver, they tell you to have the ball opposite your front foot, and most people tend to slice it. Why is that? And if you're caught in the trees and you hit a low one out from under the trees, your ball tends to stay low but have quite a bit of hook on the ball. Why is that? This is going to explain why both of those things happen. So, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to move the ball further forward in my stance. And if I address that ball, you can now see from behind my shoulders are open. So before I move anything else, let's go to the drone and have a look. Okay, so we've just seen the angle from the drone. Now, this line here that I pointed out earlier, the middle, that must always point to the middle of me. So, my arc has now moved. So the ball position, which is forwards, as you can see here, is opposite my left foot. And what happens is that when I address the ball, it alters my address position. See how my shoulders are open? Now, your club face, you're still going to try to return to this square line because the ball to target line is the line you're trying to hit the ball down. The problem is that now, because the ball is further forwards, my shoulders now work on a different plane. And as I swing, you can see that my swing goes from outside to inside the line, and therefore with a square club face to the ball to target line, which is open to the swing path, creates a slice. So when they say you should put the ball forwards in your stance for a driver, and the majority of you slice the ball, now you know why. Because what's happened subconsciously, your shoulders have opened and your club face is still pointing at the target. So therefore your club face is pointing right of your swing path. That creates a slice. Okay, so if you wanted to have the ball forwards, which I don't agree with, certainly not opposite the front foot, you need to find some way to pull your shoulders back at address, which gets a little bit tricky. So that's what happens when we move the ball forwards, we tend to slice. Let's go the opposite way and move it back in our stance. So, as you can now see, the ball is back in the stance, and if I address the ball, what happens is it actually closes my shoulders off. So if I now twist this board, so the middle now points for the middle of me, because this is important that we've got this bit in there. As you can see, my shoulders are now pointing out that way. Let's just shoot to the drone again and have a look from a bird's eye view. So the drone has clearly shown us that my shoulders are now pointing in this direction. But again, the club face is still pointing at the ball to target line. So my shoulders are at this angle, my club face is at that angle, which is left of the ball to target line. And as we talked about, the ball is going to tilt to the left. That's why we get a hook. So if you wanted to hit your drive further and therefore create a bit more topspin, perhaps you should look at moving the ball back in your stance, because it changes your swing path. As you can see here, my shoulders are naturally closed without you being aware of it, as opposed to moving it forwards. So, ball position, the further back you have the ball, the more into out you would probably make a golf swing, and with a club face that's square to the ball target line, you will probably draw the ball. The further forward you have the ball in your stance, the more your shoulders actually aim left, and if the club face is square to the ball to target line, therefore the ball's going to tilt to the right, you're probably going to slice the ball. So for a straight shot, we can have it in the middle. If you wanted to fade it, you can move the ball further forwards in your stance, and if you wanted to draw the ball, you could move the ball further back, because it changes your shoulders, which then change your swing path, which then alter the relationship between your swing path and your club face at impact, and that is all what spin's about. Have a go.